Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And we welcome you back to Talk of the Town for this Wednesday, May 19th. I'm Gary Stevens. We are very pleased to put this group in our regular rotation, chatting with us on a monthly basis. We get an update on the activities going on at the Community Action House, and the Community Action House is about ready to open up a thing called a food club. Talk about that and other things involved with the club. Allison Bonewell, the volunteer coordinator, along with Chara Bouma-Prediger, the food access program manager, join us via the Zoom connection this morning. Ladies, you grace us with your presence. Good morning and welcome to WHTC.
Morning, Gary. Thank you for having us.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Chara was the first you heard. Allison is the second, so we'll try to identify the voices so people can be able to hear. Of course, we are recording this Zoom conversation video-wise, and we'll putting this up as a link to our podcast at WHTC.com a little bit later on today. Food Club. Now, I don't have a card here. You need it. No. Let's talk a little bit about that. It's not a gold key club, but for those who need food in our area, it's just as valuable. Chara or Allison, either one of you can start telling us what exactly this food club is all about.
Hi, Gary. I'll start out. This is Chara, and we are just so excited to bring the food club here to our Holland and New Zealand community. The food club is a different food access model that focuses on higher choice and higher dignity and higher flexibility for our guests. So it's a grocery store experience. So imagine walking into an Aldi, there are aisles, there are carts, and you'll check out just like you would at a grocery store. You'll be able to get the food you want when you want it instead of going to a pantry, which many people think isn't the right choice for them because of limited hours, limited convenience. But at the food club, you'll be able to shop when you want for the items you need. And members will join by paying a small monthly fee, and that's based on a sliding scale. So based on their income level, they'll be able to qualify between $11 to $17 a month. And for that, they'll receive about 2 weeks worth of food. And again, they'll be able to come in and shop for that when they need it and for the items that their family needs. So we're really excited to be able to offer this to the community.
We'll talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts of this food club in terms of when it's going to open and where in a few moments. But Chara, you touched upon it a little bit. There's a stigma. I hate to say this, but there's a stigma among those who need food, especially those who are maybe in a tough situation, such as they just lost their job or there's been a death and they need the assistance. And yet, they don't want to be, looking like they're a beggar or impoverished something. There's a stigma. The food club, I think, sort of addresses that, doesn't it?
We hope so. And we realize that, there are a lot of people who think a food pantry isn't for them. And we realize there is a stigma, and there has been for a while. And hopefully with the food club, we'll be able to serve a greater amount of people. So I don't know, United Way has talked about the ALICE population. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's asset limited, income constrained, but employed. So folks who are maybe working, but still not able to afford all their needs and make ends meet. So this will really help those folks because they don't qualify for government benefits and they don't maybe, again, think of themselves as I could go to a pantry, but they also aren't able to afford full retail price and make all their ends. So this is really going to be that stepping stone in the middle for them.
David Lee, who is the Community Action House's project manager, is also joining us on our Zoom conversation this morning, and we'll get his thoughts on a few other things as well as we've been talking with Chara Bouma-Prediger, the Food Access Program Manager, about the Community Action House's Food Club and Opportunity Hub. Either Chara or David, both of you. By the way, Allison Bonewell, we'll get to you in a moment because we want to talk a little bit about volunteers in a little bit. But about the Food Club and setting this up, there was a big push, or shall we say, a big opportunity that has been claimed to get the final amount of money to get it over the finish line, so to say. Tell us a little bit about that, either you, David, or you, Chara, on this.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, we are in the middle, or actually the end of our capital campaign. We're trying to close it. The total cost of this project is very significant. We're talking like just over $4 million. We've had a generous donor who has just been a great supporter of ours for many, many years, and they have decided to put up $150,000 of matched funds. So anybody who donates to help us open Food Club this fall will have every dollar they donate doubled. And our goal is to max that out because that's a huge chunk of money. I mean, it's very significant. We are under $500,000 away from being ready to open the doors. And so getting that $150,000 match, every donation really makes a difference. I mean, yeah, so if anyone is listening and they're thinking, you know, I can spare $5, $50, $5,000, $50,000, whatever it is, we are here to partner with our community to do that.
Is it a short-term thing, David, in terms of a time frame, or because you want to try to get the money as quickly as possible, or is it a little bit more open-ended because of the fact that, let's put it this way, for some people, finances are a little tight right now?
Yeah, we totally get that. So the double match, so the matching funds will be available through the end of June. First, we are always looking for support in a variety of ways. So it's not just donations, although those are very important right now because building a building costs a lot of money and we're doing it the right way. It's going to be a beautiful site. I was just looking at some new renders of what the actual store and office space inside is going to look, and it is just a total departure from what you would expect when you think of like social services. It really helps to elevate people's experiences because they're walking into a bright, airy, welcoming space. And I think that will really improve our ability to serve our community with the resources that they need.
Time frame, of course, obviously depends on having the money on hand. Best case scenario, what are we looking at in terms of maybe getting this thing open?
We're hoping this fall, and that is with everything going just as we're planning right now. And then we'll be off and running a food club and opportunity hub. So yeah, I can't say which month yet because again, things are hard to track when construction is ongoing, but definitely this fall. I think the staff and many of our existing volunteers and supporters are already informed about this. But yeah, we're doing it as fast as we can. And yeah, if you can take advantage of the match, again, it's a great opportunity because I know that having lived in West Michigan now for over 15 years, I know a good value when I see it, and I try to take advantage of it. In fact, I've actually been holding on to my own personal donation to Community Action House until this match came along because, hey, if I have a couple $100s that I can put into my budget and help this project succeed, it feels even better to have it double matched. So yeah.
One final question. One final question real quick, David, and then we'll move on. Where will this be located?
Yeah, this is such a cool story. Gary, I'm not calling you old on air. I'm just saying you may know that there used to be a grocery store called Ife's on 739 Paw Paw. So that's 8th Street in Paw Paw where they kind of link up. It was there for a long time. We've talked to lots of folks that used to work there when they were younger as, a cashier or a stocking clerk. And Semco bought it out for a while and we then bought it back from Semco. So it's turning what was a grocery store back into a grocery store. It's right across, it's right by 31. I mean, what's across the street there? There's an auto place. It's in the Holland Heights. That's what I should say. It's in Holland Heights. And it's very centrally located. We're hoping that the location helps us to reach more people from our region instead of just Holland. We're really thinking ourselves as being a resource for the greater Holland area. So yeah, if you drive right there, they're pouring concrete today. The parking lot's all torn up. You see big construction vehicles driving in and out, and it's very exciting. I think they were punching holes in the wall because of putting in new windows to let some of that light in. I would recommend not walking onto the construction site, but feel free to drive past it and wave.
Of course, there's some construction going on with Paw Paw Drive, and it's being blocked off between 8th and 112th right now because of the bridge reconstruction. So maybe to a certain extent, it's good that it's not open yet because the road people can get to it once the roadway is all straightened out. We are talking with David Lee along with Allison Bonewell and Chara Bouma-Prediger, who is the Food Access Program Manager with Community Action House. So if you have a question about the Community Action House or the programs that we are discussing, they'll be happy to answer the question at 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. Allison, I want to get you into the conversation because you are the volunteer coordinator. And I hate to say this, but volunteers are always welcome and needed with Community Action House, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. There's ongoing services that we're running and have volunteers on site each day, so they're always welcome.
How can one get involved as a volunteer?
Well, there's a few opportunities that are ongoing, and some of our most needed opportunities I'd like to mention. Our community kitchen is one area, a very fun, fast-paced environment where you have an opportunity to serve. No cooking experiences needed. We will teach everything that's needed. But we serve about 150 to 200 hot meals, restaurant quality meals each day. And the team is awesome to work with. Another one is with our logistics team, another great team. This one would be an opportunity for folks who maybe want to independently volunteer, and a little bit more COVID safe opportunity, I would say too. You're in a truck cab, it's pretty safe that way. And then at our resale store, this one would be an opportunity for, it's maybe high school students that wanted an opportunity to get some work experience before going into the workforce more officially. We're looking for cashiers to help our team out day to day, and we're open Monday through Saturday there. And so people, if they want to learn more, they can text GIFT, GIFT, to 66599 or go to our website, and that's communityactionhouse.org to learn more.
And by the way, we will put a link to the website, communityactionhouse.org, when we put our podcast of our conversation on our webpage at WHTC.com at the top of the hour. 616-395-1450, 616-395-1450. If you have a question for David Lee, Chara Bouma-Prediger, and Allison Bonewell of the Community Action House. And I touched upon this in an earlier conversation with Scott Rumsa, who's the executive director of the CAH, a little bit earlier this spring, dealing with the fact over the past 15 plus months, the Community Action House has sort of had to pivot a little bit and do things maybe a little differently, but also to do things for more people affected by the outbreak, the COVID-19 outbreak. And some say, it has taxed the services, not only of the Community Action House, but also other nonprofits. It's really put a strain on them. Others say it's been an opportunity. It's made people more aware of this particular service to the community that, in this case, Community Action House does provide. I'll throw it up to Chara, David, or Allison on this. As you look back over the 15 plus months, what has been the one thing that you feel Community Action House has really stepped up and met as a challenge, and maybe a challenge that the Community Action House still needs to address or to fully fulfill in our community as a result of the outbreak?
I can step in and answer that, Gary. And I think, what you said is exactly right. There's been unprecedented challenges this past year and these past months. And there has also been opportunity in that. So, we served over 14,000 people last year and over 600,000 meals. So that's significantly higher than what we've done in the past. And I think the opportunity that I witnessed was just our community coming in and supporting us and stepping up. So, we had volunteers who weren't able to come in and help due to the COVID and health concerns. So we had new volunteers coming in, and we had families helping us pack boxes. And I think we saw just a swelling of community support that we hadn't before. And I think it's really given us the opportunity to discuss these issues with supporters and with the community in greater depth and say, we've seen 40% of the people who are coming to us in the beginning of the pandemic were first-time guests. What does that mean for our community, and what are the issues that are going on, and what are people experiencing? And I think having the opportunity to have those conversations has been really beneficial.
Another
One
thing.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
Oh, well, I think with all the new first-time folks to the food pantry, the biggest opportunity that for me that I was just astounded by was we brought on new volunteers and also some new staff to make phone calls or do text messages or emails and write letters to pretty much every single new guest that we had that we could get a hold of to check in, see how they're doing. So we'd wait a couple days. We tried to do it within the same week, and to see what else they needed. Can we help you find housing? Can we help you navigate your unemployment? Can we help you make sure that you have the healthcare that you need? Do you just need someone to talk to for a few minutes just to reassure you that it's going to be okay? And we made thousands of phone calls. I mean, we're talking literally thousands of phone calls. And it was a huge community building opportunity because we learned the names of these people, we learned their stories, and in many cases, we're able to get them connected to the resources that really were able to help them believe that they have hope in the future. It was a huge thing. So that's when we started being a food pantry that really was doing so much more. And it's something that we still do. We still have a team of resource navigators that are calling and connecting. And it's just a sense of community that people know that we can be there to help them with more than just food. Another thing I'll say is Chara is most likely the person to be there when you come pick up food. And I don't know, I'm just the marketing guy, but I will watch her for an hour and she will greet literally every single person by their first name. And they'll say, "Hi, Chara, how are you doing? It's been 2 weeks." Like, it's amazing the personal connection that Chara has just really devoted to making with each of these folks, and turning what can be really hard, challenging situations into something that's a little friendlier and a little bit more welcoming and frankly, just a little bit more hopeful. So I don't know. I mean, it's been hard for a lot of people. It's been hard, I think, for all of us, but you see the light in the tunnel, right?
Indeed, we certainly do. And Chara, by the way, I see the blushing there. That's okay. That is nice as well. Allison, who is the volunteer coordinator, I'm going to quote a line that the late Dr. Howard Hendricks used to say about those of us who are a little bit more seasoned. There's a little bit more of the almond in our hair, a little bit. Instead of trying to slide for home, we should be doing stuff, especially as we get into the retirement years. And while you do have a number of volunteers that are a little bit more seasoned, certainly volunteering at Community Action House is just not for the young. It's also for the young at heart too, as well, isn't it?
That's absolutely right.
Tell us a little bit about some of the opportunities that maybe the older people can do that maybe some of the younger ones, they may have the muscle, but they may not have the experience up here.
Right. Lifting giant food boxes is not for everyone. Some of the opportunities that might be best for older folks out there might be with our resale store. There's opportunities for a seated position at the front running the register, which don't be intimidated. We do a great training. It is an easy to learn system and a touchscreen iPad at the top. So that's a great opportunity. And then sorting in the back. That's another opportunity to just work with your hands, get your hands on objects, especially if you're one of those organized people, and enjoy, getting things where they need to go and seeing your work in process. You get to see that out on the floor. Other opportunities is doing food box delivery. Our pantry transitioned to offering that during COVID to folks that are homebound or possibly quarantining due to COVID. And that's an opportunity to have that direct interaction with a guest and really see that difference made as well. And then upcoming in Food Club, there's going to be a great number of opportunities to get involved. And then for our service desk and welcoming people, that might be one opportunity. It's a new situation for everyone, including our guests. So we're looking for greeters to help direct people where they might need to go, whether that's our welcome desk or just showing them the direction toward the restrooms or toward the grocery store area. And then at our registers, so we're going to have a point of sale area and helping scan items through and have a great interaction with the guests there too.
616-395-1450. I do have a call. Let's see if we have it for our guest. Good morning. You're talking with our friends from Community Action House.
Hey, might want to give out the phone number too.
We will do that, Mr. David Lee. I will throw that on your shoulders about how people can get a hold of the Action House via their smartphones.
There's our main line number, which you can call during business hours, so Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. That is 616-392-2368.
Repeat that again, please.
616-392-2368.
Now, the reason why I say repeat it again, David, because somebody might say, "Oh, I don't have my pen and paper." Hey, that helps out in that regard.
Yeah. Appreciate the question. It's a good reminder that, people have to have a way to contact you.
Yeah, besides just the online stuff. And one final thing, and I know we're a little short on time, and maybe I'm opening a can of worms that maybe we need more time to filter this, but those who need the services of the Community Action House, it's one thing we can envision, but say we drive past a certain area and somebody's got a sign out, needing help, a veteran out and all that.
Yeah.
Those people really need to get a hold of the Action House, because somehow, I hate to say it, putting the sign out doesn't work as much as actually reaching out and getting hold of the Action House to do for the services that you guys can provide.
We have an outreach team specifically trained and active all over the county in basically connecting with folks, whether they are living in a place that's not fit for human habitation or, in between housing. And so give us a call. We would love to connect with them. Our job is to be supportive and meet them where they're at. I think that's the biggest and best thing that we can do. Oftentimes they don't have a phone, and that's okay. We can go to them. We have actually a nice vehicle that we drive around with our logo on it, so they know it's not some random person. It's Community Action House saying hello. So give us a call at 616-392-2368, and we'd love to help however we can.
We will also put a link to communityactionhouse.org when we put this podcast together in a few moments on our webpage at WHTC.com. Allison, Chara, and David, thank you very much for joining us today on WHTC's Talk of the Town program. Hope to talk with all of you again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
And thank you, Allison. And with that, we button up this half hour of the WHTC Talk of the Town program.